Hi Willy Thistlers, it's Rachel here at Barkland Croft in Fair Isle. I hope you're all keeping well. What a month it's been, and the most important thing, as you can see here, is we have a new addition to our family. So I'll tell you a little bit about Sparky and his story. On one of my hill rotas last month, I spotted this little chap looking rather sorry for himself. It did look like he might have a problem with his leg, but he actually doesn't, which was a relief, but not looking good at all. And you can just see his mum running off in the distance. I'd been watching this lamb from a distance for quite a while, and it was clear that something wasn't quite right with him. So I made the decision to take him home, and he was about a day old. He certainly wasn't a newborn lamb. He was completely dry. His umbilical had more or less dried up as well, but he was incredibly cold, and he'd clearly not really had any food, any milk get inside of him, so very, very hungry too. And I honestly wasn't sure he'd even make it all the way home, seeing as we were just about as far from Barkland as you could get. Once we got home, I took his temperature, which was 36.7 degrees C. Now, a lamb's temperature should be 39, so he was quite clearly hypothermic. And before I could feed him, I had to get his body temperature up, because otherwise, if you feed them when their body temperature is cold like that, it can actually cause them to go into shock. So he had a session under the hairdryer, and once his body temperature had got up, I was able to give him a good feed of powdered colostrum, which is that really, really rich milk that they would normally get in the first sort of day from their mums. And that completely changed him. He went from being unable to stand up on his own and just being really floppy to actually being able to stand up and kind of start to be a bit more alert and look around his surroundings. Then he enjoyed a nice long nap by the fire before Tortuga came to help with warming duties. He seemed especially taken with Nieva, and she quite liked having a friend that was smaller than her as well. After a few days, once he'd got a bit stronger, we of course had to have the obligatory photos by the daffodils in the little sheepy jumper. He had great fun making new friends with the cats and some of the sheep, and very quickly found his feet. A few days into May, and we finally got the weather we had all been waiting for. Just look at it. Such a blue sky, all that sun, and not a cloud to be seen. It was absolutely wonderful. And as you can see here, first day for me being out without a jacket on, and first day being out without Wellington boots on. Ruffalo decided that despite the sunshine, the lettuce seedlings were apparently cold, so she decided to stay indoors and incubate them. Meanwhile, I got on with some outdoor jobs and started off by putting up some new nest boxes for the birds. It even marked our first day of t-shirt weather, and Sparky was busy helping me in the vegetable garden. Where's he gone? What you up to? The thistles this year so far have been something else. They have sprung up just everywhere, and I've never known a year where they've come up so quickly and so profusedly and grow so big in such a short space of time. They take up so much room, and where they grow, it means the grass won't grow. So it's really important to dig them out and remove them, which, as you can imagine, is quite a big job. It's already taken us several sessions, and so far I've got 10 sacks of thistles with probably about 2 or 3 more sacks to go. I think Meg and Sparky were tired out after a long afternoon's thistle picking. As is so often the case, after a sunny and warm day, we nearly always get at least a day of fog, and this was no exception. A few mornings later, though, I saw this beautiful halo around the sun. May has marked the start of the cruise ship season here in Fair Isle, and we get quite a lot of the smaller cruise ships visiting us, usually with no more than about 200 passengers. So it was time for me to go on duty at the museum. And this is our museum, the George Waterston Memorial Centre and Museum. It's quite small, but we do have a lot of things on display, and hopefully something to interest everybody. And of course, we have our knitwear displays. We've had more days of fog. But some beautifully clear evenings too. The sunshine and warmth saw the first of the bluebells starting to bloom, such a pretty sight. The hens have enjoyed dust bathing and sunbathing, and Ruffalo's done some more gardening too. I took advantage of the good weather and commenced Operation Recover Roly from way up on the hill there. And here he is, looking very smart in his dog harness and lead. He's not too sure about it though, but I had a bucket of sheep nuts to encourage him. He was soon quite happily trotting along the verges, stopping for snacks every now and then. And there we are, we're almost home. I think he's very happy to finally have some proper grass to eat, because there hasn't been much on the hill. So despite him looking very thick and fluffy there, it's all his fleece, and he's actually very, very skinny underneath it all. But very happy to have him home. Nieva and Sparky had great fun tearing around the garden together. Good boy. And later that evening we had an influx of dozens of silver Y moths. They're incredibly fast, so it was quite hard for me to actually focus in on them, but hopefully you can get an idea of just how many there are of them flying around the bluebells in this short clip here. And what a stunning evening it turned into. This was about 10:30 at night, and it was still quite warm. You can just see the mist is starting to roll in down from the hills in the north and along the ground there. Unfortunately, my phone decided it didn't want to focus on it. Next day, of course, following a warm day, we were back to fog. But you could see the blue sky and sunshine were up there somewhere, trying to burn through it all. Over the last month you can see just how much little Sparky has grown and come on, but he still loves his cuddles with Nieva. Before I go, I just wanted to let you know that the latest batch of my Bee Croft yarn will be going on sale on my website from the 1st of June. And if you'd like to find out more about it, then please feel free to head over to my website and have a look there. Thank you. And I'll leave you with some clips of Sparky having his mad 5 minutes. Bye for now. See you again next month.
I think he's come from Poscard. Yeah, he's stalking us. He's seeing where we're going next. He's going home to tell his mates. Yeah. Somewhere underneath all the merchandise. Welcome to my shop.